Retwist. Retwist. My name is Jemiah, and today we are touching on, I thought it was just me trying to heal out here. So, y'all, it's another one of them days. If you see my first relaunch episode, I just was talking about how I'm really going with the flow of things, trying things different this time, not making things fit into this box, have my expectations on it. And I had a whole nother topic that I wanted to touch on. From start to finish, it was just a very interesting night to morning. Normally, I be in the church house. Everybody know I be in the church house on Sundays. God was telling me and him just needed some time. He was doing some digging up out of my heart of some things that I didn't realize was in my heart per usual. One of the things he brought to my attention was letting me know your healing is not a punishment. And when I tell y'all, I started bawling. We all know the Lord be having me bawl, but that right there, yeah, he got a good cry to me. I was having one of those days where it felt a little down. But by now, which I'll get into later, I've learned how to be disciplined with my feelings, to not just go based off of what I feel. But sometimes I have to be mindful, still feel what you're feeling, just don't let it control you. So you still need to allow yourself to feel these things. And so that's what we were kind of having, is one of those moments. It literally, after me and him had that moment, of course, talk about some things, prayed about some things, it led me to film about this instead today. It led me to film about healing. I am so grateful to have really intimately got to know this experience of getting to know God. And I remember one day, it was like something petty, but it was like an accumulation of feelings, and just another situation where I just was feeling discouraged. I was driving and I just ended up just bawling, like to a point where I low-key probably should have pulled over, because God just reminded me of the scripture that said, cast your cares upon me. And it sunk in me like, the Lord really cares about me. Like, it's not this thing where you are supposed to live like this in order to receive this, and this is how you're supposed to live, or I don't. Like, it's not like God cares about me. He cares about the choices that I make. He cares about my well-being. He cares about what I decide to wear today just as much as I care about what I decide to wear today. Like, he really cares for me and cares about me. He cares who I'm around. And it's like, God is so huge. He's so great. He's, everything. And he cares about me. Um, and I think that because that is so hard to comprehend, I wasn't like, I that wasn't something that I was allowing to sink in. I feel like you can't truly heal without having the Lord, because where does all that go? You know what I'm saying? All these things that you're going through, that you have to face in order to heal, whose feet can you lay that upon? You know what I'm saying? That's why a lot of times we get misguided and we think that somebody is responsible for our healing. We think it's somebody's fault. We feel more comfortable blaming somebody. We feel more comfortable blaming ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, where does it all go? All these internal things that nobody can see that you're carrying, versus having a beautiful God to cast your cares upon. Whew! Oh, God know he good. God just know he good. So even with that to start, healing is not punishment. Listen, I'm in a new season now, but the season that I just recently left out of was a season of making poor decision after poor decision. And so, there's laws, there's rules, there's order to life, there's consequences, whether people want to admit it or not. I had to reap a lot of what I sowed. So I reaped a lot of however, you kind of made me get into this mindset of, it hurts, but I did this to myself. I got used to accepting fruits of disappointment and fruits of frustration, fruits of of sadness and things like that. Like I was accepting of them because I felt like I was deserving of them. And so when he reminded me that healing is not a punishment to me, it just really ministered to me, that healing really is a blessing. It's one of those blessings we run from, right? Healing takes a lot of discipline. And we naturally run from discipline when discipline is actually so good for us. So a lot of people say healing takes time, and it does. It doesn't just take time. Healing takes willingness, intentionality. Healing takes work. It takes so much work and it takes a lot of discipline. So it's one of those things where when you think of healing, it's like when you think of getting up and going to the gym, right? It takes a while, it takes consistency before it can sink in. Like, I actually really like going to the gym. You know what I'm saying? Like, I actually really like eating this banana instead of eating these Oreos. You know, like you come from a place where you can never see yourself saying that, and before you know it, you do. It's a lifestyle. It feels like a drag at first, you know, and especially when you're used to operating based off your flesh, based off of whatever you feel like doing. When you operate out of pleasuring yourself, discipline feels like I can't take this. I can't take help from my body. I cannot take it. I cannot take the good things for my body. Like that's what it feels like. Y'all know that video of that lady eating like a piece of broccoli after she just eats potatoes and cheese, potatoes and cheese. That's what it feels like. The ability to heal is such a blessing. And I just, not only do I want people to feel heard and seen and understood, but I want you to watch this, whoever needs it, and feel encouraged. Sometimes healing hurts. That doesn't mean it's bad for you. You know, something that I actually talk to a lot of people about that comes up when it comes to my walk with God, and that difference of, you know, living for God versus just being a good person. And you know, I always get into it and I'm like, well, define good. You know, they're like, I just want people to do whatever makes them happy. And I'm like, well, if I eat 3 packs of Oreos because it makes me happy, that's a little OD. Like, yeah, it might make me happy, but that might not be good for me. And the same way that's the case, something could be really good for you and still really, really hurt. And it's hard for us to accept that and to really sit it. It's hard to embrace that. Hurt is hard to embrace. A lot of times we want to push that away, and sometimes it's the very thing that we need. What is so beautiful about healing is when you do it the right way, it teaches you how to master your emotions and not let your emotions run you. You're forced to release control because your feelings go like this. Your feelings are up and down. It's a roller coaster. And to heal through, you have to embrace those days with how they come, and you're going to have to handle things differently. You know, we like structure. We like to feel safe. We like, what is it? We're creatures of habit. So, you know, a lot of times it's like, oh, I feel this feeling, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Like, I'm going to get into the habit of covering it up somehow. I'm going to run to the alcohol. I'm going to run to the person. I'm going to run to the TV. Like, you're going to pick up some type of quick habit, quick fix to get over it. Whatever it is that can keep you like a well-oiled machine, that could keep you running through the day. You know, for some people, their vice is smoking, you know, smoking through it, like to keep your peace. You know what I mean? But the real peace, the real healing is being able to stay present and stay content and keep your peace without having to run to a vice. Is being able, how can you hold on through the situation without avoiding the situation? To gain patience, to gain the capacity and the ability to do these things takes being in the thick of it. It takes being in the rough, rocky, hard situation, whatever that is. And when you allow your feelings to lead the way, you never get to get there. You don't feel like it, so you don't. You have to tell yourself what to do, not let your feelings tell you what to do, or you will never heal. It's not easy. It gets ugly. It gets ugly. Like everybody wants to be in their soft era, especially to the ladies, everybody on their light, feminine, soft era. And it's like, it gets ugly. When we gonna talk about that? When we gonna talk about how ugly this soft girl era could get? It takes a lot of that hard work is something else. It is something else to have to sit through the things that really, really hurt you, the things that you don't want to face. And it's rough to have to sit through um realizing that you played a part in it, realizing that some things are your fault, like having to accept some things and embrace some things to move forward when you really don't want to. Again, mastering those feelings, it is saying, what I want to do is sit here and be resentful and sit here and be bitter and constantly remind myself of how unfair it is that this person gets to move on with their life after they hurt me. That's what your feelings want to tell you to do. But the healed version of you, the healed version that God is calling you to embrace and walk in, has to face it and sit there in it, figure out, why does this hurt me? You have to go back to that place so that you can get to the bottom of it, so that you can forgive yourself, forgive the person, not to sit there and harbor it and let it soak in your mind and meditate on it. There's so many parts of you that you don't realize is stuck. We have so many people who all this time has gone on. That's why I say, like, it doesn't just take time. When people say healing takes time, I've been there, y'all. I have walked away from people and months could go by and it feels like months, years, whatever it is, and it feels like not a day has gone by. Why? Because I am constantly replaying the day that they left, or the day that I left, or the argument we had, or the heartbreak. Like, I'm constantly dwelling in it. So all my energy, my spirit is still stuck in that moment, captive. And it's past time for so many of us out there to reclaim who we are. And so we can be revived and embrace our season now and be present in our season now. There's so much that God might want to release to you that He cannot give to this unhealed version of you. You're still operating in that unhealed version of you. You're still operating afraid to get hurt, afraid of this because you haven't healed from the past. And He can't trust you with something in the now. He can't trust to give this thing to you, whatever it is that you're praying for, seeking Him for, if you're going to handle it like old you. The things that God has for you is requiring a new you to step forward, the higher version of you to step forward. And y'all, it's crazy because I feel like, let me say this. I feel like my healing journey started, and when I say healing journey, I mean like having to go back and unplug so many rotten roots, which means I had to backtrack a lot. I had to sit there and I had to figure out, okay, what's going on? How did we get here? What can I do to never get here again? And if I'm being honest, I like, the first memory that's coming to my head was crazy situation, y'all. I remember calling my sister and I just was crying and crying, screaming, like, because I was also so angry. And I just remember saying, like, this person will never make me feel like this again. Nobody will ever make me feel like this again, because I just was so hurt and so upset. And those moments are pivotal moments, because those moments are either, those are the moments that you have the enemy and you have the Lord looking for you at the same time, because the Lord is near the brokenhearted, but so is the enemy, because the enemy is a copycat. He's lame and he wants to imitate everything God does. Boo. Tomatoes, tomatoes, tomatoes. Your trials are so pivotal because you can either go God's way or you can go the enemy's way. But that some things are about to change. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm blessed enough to where I was so tired of hurting, but I was able to realize I'm so tired of doing things my way. Like it's my way that keeps getting me into these positions. It's my way that keeps leading me into this hurt. I can cry all day. I can cry all I want about what my intention was, what I thought it was going to be, my expectations, but at the end of the day, it's my ways that keep leading me somewhere where I don't want to be. And so I found myself in a place where I was like, okay, God, like I was so hurt that I had no choice but to submit. And truthfully, I want to get to people to where I want to be able to get to them and talk to them to where they don't have to get where I was, to where they can make the choice that they know deep down inside, like because you know when God is calling you, but they can get there without having to go through all the hurt and hoops and ridiculousness and foolishness. You know, I say all that to say because I wanted y'all to be able to like kind of envision where I was. And when I was in this place, you know, of realizing I can't do what you do, God. Like, I need to surrender. I can't do what you do. And when I was having to look back at all these roots, you know, because it's bigger than the situation. You know, when you hit these brick walls or you hit like something just blew up in your face, like whatever it is that made you come to the place of realizing you need to do some healing work, it's so much deeper than whatever that moment was, right? So there was a lot that I had to face and I had to understand about myself and my choices, why I am the way I am. Um, but I had to really ask myself why. I had to ask myself why about so many things. Why do I talk like this? Why is this my response to this? Why is this how I chose to do this? Why did I have this need for control? Why did I choose this person? Why do I think like this? Why do I act like this? Why did that thought just come into my head? We just don't got a lot of people asking themselves why they do what they do anymore. Like we have so many, and like I said, this was me too. But we roll with whatever feels good. We just go with the flow. We don't set intentions. We don't sit there and say, this is what I want, so this is what I'm going to do. Instead, we follow wherever our pleasures lead us. And sometimes we don't know that our pleasures is about to lead us into hell. Hell. HE for real. So we don't question where it's headed. We just like how it feels. Going with the flow, but then we're upset when it doesn't go our way. But why would it go our way? We never had a way that we set out to begin with. Like we didn't have a direction we were going and we were just going with whatever felt good. But then it's all, you know, fun and games is out the window when that mess blow up or don't go how we want it to. We could avoid so much if we stop and ask ourselves, why are we doing what we're doing? Our daily choices matter so much. Um, but we don't stop and think about nothing. We just do what our parents taught us. We do what feels good in the moment. We do what we know, where we're comfortable in, and we don't question why. And there's so much power in asking questions and seeking. The Bible talks about how important knowledge is and seeking, you know, ask questions. Y'all, there are so many people comfortable. It is glorified nowadays to spread toxicity, to spread around this unhealed version of yourself. Like we are meant to engage with people. We're meant to have community. We're meant to converse with one another. We're meant to pour into one another. Um, but we don't care about what we're putting out in the world. A lot of people are just using people. Me centered. It's just so self-centered. People are not thinking of others first. There's not a lot of people out here thinking, how can I make somebody feel seen, heard, loved on today? You know, let's compete with how much we can outlove each other, outdo each other, um, in a godly way and godly love. A lot of people are too cowardice and a lot of people are too lazy to do the work themselves. They're too cowardice to face themselves and face what's really going on inside or to face the past and, you know, whatever it is. And a lot of people are too lazy. A lot of people are too lazy and they want someone to fill the voids for them, which is why you're never going to get good out of using people. Everybody breaking one another and going on about their business and breaking the next person. It's just this big domino effect. And then on the other end of it, to be honest, we have a lot of people that reward these people. Everybody's mad at the narcissist. Everybody a narcissist now. So everybody mad at the narcissist, and they want to hold on to that anger, but they don't want to hold on to that anger for themselves, for accepting that behavior, for rewarding that behavior. Because the deeper that hurt is because you allowed them that access to you. You gave them that, but you're angry at them for your choices. And I'm not saying that you should, be angry with yourself either and not forgive yourself either. I'm just saying everybody wants to play the blame game as if that's going to do something for them, as if that's going to help in any kind of way. What helps is doing the hard work of healing, forgiving one another, taking the time to learn yourself, taking the time to learn others, taking the time to figure out, what do I want out of life before I go disrupt somebody else's life, before I go and put my baggage, my stuff all on somebody else. Before I get into business with this person, is my stuff together? Before I get on these people's job and act a fool because of everything I had going on, like, let me make sure I woosah and clean myself out before I step into this person's home, before I have a conversation with this person, before I get into a relationship with this person. Like, people don't care about how they're treating others nowadays, and the lasting effects that it has on people. If nobody has told you, I am proud of you, I don't care if we ain't met, I don't care what the situation is, know that I am proud of you. And I would say that to you face to face. I would look you in your eyes right now and be like, I'm so proud of you, Pookie, Pookie, Wookie butt, because I am. That mess is hard. Give yourself a pat on the back. Give yourself grace. Give yourself patience. Pour into yourself. The majority is not doing that right now. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't believe in revival. I don't believe in things, coming together. And there is power in healing. So I don't care what the odds are. There is power in just you being the only person in your family who's doing it. You being the only person who's doing it. You being the leader in your friend group to do it, whatever it is. Power in doing it God's way. So I don't care what the odds look like. I don't care how many, around you are not doing it, or what the popular thing is. You got this. You got this. You got this. You got this. Keep healing. Keep doing it for you, and keep doing it for the next person, because I promise you it's going to spread unto others for the better. There's so much attached to the healed version of you that you have not even seen yet. People's lives are going to be changed by you making the decision today, by you making the decision that God called you to. So that's today's little spiel. Yeah. Stay healed, stay blessed. Keep fighting the good fight. Do not get weary in well doing. Have a blessed day. Bow, bow, bow. Bye.